funny though. I don't know if anybody can see me. This is very weird. I don't want to spend. All right, so we've got something. All right, it looks like I'm live. Okay. Hi, everybody. It's Aubrey. I am back again. So I have no idea. We're trying a different device. Hopefully, this will bring me some success today with my yoga video. So, big deep breath, and let's get started with some yoga. So, I'm in a different device. I'm going to have to play around with camera angles, and hopefully, this will all work. All right. Happy Thursday, everybody. So, we're going to come into a comfortable seated position. Whether that's legs crossed, maybe that's legs out in front of you. We'll begin by just slowing things down. Taking care of ourselves, letting go of any worries, concerns, computer, internet malfunctions, and being still and being present. And tuning into yourself. Nice deep inhales and exhales. And spine is tall and long. Relaxing through your facial features. Breathing in and out through your nose. One more round of breath before we add in movements. And then drawing a big inhale. And exhale, dropping our gaze down towards our lap. Inhale, raising our head back up. Exhale, once again, dropping your gaze towards your lap. With your gaze directed downward, bringing chin towards right shoulder. Stretching out through left side of your neck. To then bring your gaze down to your lap. And then over to opposite left shoulder. And then bringing your gaze to your lap. And then with an inhale, bringing your head back up tall. Into a lateral bend, left hand by your side, right hand by your side, left arm raising up. Exhale, lateral bend, leaning to the side, opening up through your waist, through the ribs. And then bringing hand down. Inhale, raising arm up. Switching sides. Inhale, bringing yourself back tall. Into a spinal twist, we sweep right hand back by right hip. Left hand to knees, we spiral, twisting upwards. Shoulders soft away from ears. And then release, coming back to center, switching sides. Sides, bringing left hand back by left hip, right hand to the knee, spiraling, twisting upwards. To then release and unwind and coming back to center. Interlacing fingers as we bring those hands out in front of us, broad through shoulders, stretch through the back. Hands can stay interlaced as we draw those arms tall overhead, spine is long. And then with an exhale, we bring the hands behind our back, broad open through chest, little chest stretch here. Beginning to open up through the front of our body. And then release and coming back to center. Moving to all fours as we come to table. Sideways. So palms are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath hips, flat back. Cat-cow poses. Excuse me. Head down, tailbone down, arching, rounding through spine. And then moving to bring head up, tailbone up. And then once again, head down, tailbone down. And into head up, tailbone up. And then moving back to flat back, back into table. From table coming into child's pose, upper body resting on thighs, forehead on the mat, sinking down low to child's pose. Lateral child's pose, fingers reaching over towards the right with a long stretch through the left side of your body. Then coming into center as we reach and stretch over to the opposite left side. And then coming back to center, back to child's pose. Rising up to all fours, back to table. Extending right leg straight back on right toes, stretching out through the sole of your foot. Crossing right leg over to the left side of your body. And then moving to open up through spine into a lateral bend. Stretching out through ribs, top of hips. With an inhale, we come back to center, returning your knee. Switching sides, left leg straight back, left toes resting along the mat. Then left leg crosses over the right, opening up through ribs, into glutes. And then bringing knee back to center. Puppy pose, staying on knees, arms extended, long forehead, forearms melting down to the mat. Long through your back. Finding your breath, tuning into you, to your space. And then press the palms into the mat, downward facing dog from knees rising onto toes, feet walking back, head hanging heavy, long through heels. Walking the dog, bending one knee, lowering the opposite heel towards the floor as you pedal through the feet, warming up through lower body. And then when you're ready, coming into a full expression of the pose, heels lowered down, head towards the floor, long through arms, legs. And then with an exhale, we step one leg to the front, then the other, bending, straightening knees, arms sweeping tall overhead, hands coming to center, and back tall to mountain. And coming up to the front of our mat. Tall, strong in mountain. Spreading out through our toes. All four corners of the feet in contact with the mat. Soft bend in your knees. Tall and long through your thighs. Pelvis is balanced. Drawing in through the abdominals. Long from tailbone all the way tall to the crown of your head. And chest is open. As you take a moment, easing shoulders back and down, hands by your sides, ears back by shoulders, chin parallel to the floor, with a softness about your facial features, tall, strong in mountain pose. Bringing this to a forward fold with a soft bend in knees, we extend, hinging, swan diving forward, palms resting on shins, long through spine. With an exhale, we let our head hang heavy, long through back of our legs in a forward fold. Soft bend in our knees as we roll the spine back up tall, hands coming together, and back tall to mountain. Into warrior two, beginning with right leg forward, left leg stepping back as we lunge forward, hips facing long in our mat with an inhale, arms raising long, broad open through arms, with gaze out over front right fingertips. Exhale, we sweep the hands down, wide leg forward fold, scanning to see that toes are level with hands on hips. We reach out across the room, lowering head down, taking your right hand, placing right hand in the front middle of the mat, rotate, twisting, left arm raising up, gazes up along left fingertips. With an exhale, we sweep the left hand takes the place of the right, pressing left palm in, rotate, twisting, right arm raising up towards the ceiling. Gaze can come up along, gaze can be up towards ceiling, towards side wall. Exhale, hands sweeping down, feet pressing into the mat, rolling spine back up tall. Warrior two, facing the back of your room as we lunge left leg forward, angling through right toes, hips facing long end of our mat, arms extended long to T position with gaze out over front left fingertips. Then with an exhale, we sweep the hands down, legs coming wide, lowering down to frog. A little different part of our sequence here. So we're going to come down onto our shins, facing wide, placing palms on the mat, coming down onto one shin, then the other. We're long through our legs, and we can stay here nice and high. You also have the option to fold your yoga mat to give yourself a little bit more cushion. Inner thigh stretch, you would stay here, or you can lower down onto forearms. Our head can rest down on our arms. Inner thigh stretch. Being aware that we haven't shifted our hips and our backside too far towards the heels. We want to be more in alignment with those knees, as that's going to give you that deeper, fuller inner thigh stretch, keeping your body in alignment. And then inhale, we're going to come back up to palms. We're going to rotate to spin the long end of our mat. And then moving to child's pose, sinking our hips back to heels, arms extended long. And then moving to bring our body onto our bellies to come into baby cobra. We can do this in one of two ways. We can just simply extend our body out, or you can pivot through the shoulders. So with those hands wide towards the edges of the mat, pressing palms in, elbows out towards the side. Nose hovers along the mat as our bottoms are up in the air. We sweep, snaking forward, kind of coming up into that cobra. And then with an exhale, we lower back down to come into baby cobra. So one of those two options. We are going to repeat this little sequence here. So hopefully this feels comfortable for you. So into our baby cobra. Let's take this into full cobra, or you can stay in baby cobra if that feels better for your back. So palms pressing in, broad open through chest, gazes forward. Then upward dog, so we curl our toes, thighs hovering off the mat, to then press back up and downward facing dog, head hanging heavy. And then with an exhale, we step right leg to the front, then the left, bending, straightening knees, arms sweeping tall overhead, and hands coming to center. We're going to repeat that warrior inner thighs, or warrior wide leg frog sequence. So tall, strong, and mountain. Beginning with right leg forward, left leg stepping back. Warrior two, arms extended out. We'll pick up the pace just a little. Nothing too fast. From warrior two, we exhale, we sweep the hands down, feet are wide. Forward fold, hands on hips, we extend, reaching long through spine, head hanging heavy. Right palm presses into the mat, rotate, twisting, left arm raising up. Exhale, sweeping hands down, left hand pressing into the mat, rotate, twisting, right arm raising up. Exhale, sweeping hands down, feet pressing into the mat. Inhale, rolling back up, facing the back of the room for warrior two with that left leg lunging forward. Angling through right toes, arms extended long, gazes out over left fingertips. Then with an exhale, we sweep the hands down, coming into a wide stance, preparing for frog. So we come down onto our knees, palms pressing into the mat, onto shins. And again, you can stay here, or we can drop back, lowering down onto forearms, inner thigh stretch, bringing those knees apart. Finding your breath in this space. And then with an inhale, we come back to palms. We rotate to face the long end of our mat for child's pose. And then palms move wide to either extend ourselves forward or snaking ourselves forward. Nose comes close along the mat, snaking up at the front of our mat into cobra, lowering down into baby cobra. Pressing palms into the mat, full cobra if you wish. Then curling toes, upward facing dog. Pressing toes in, downward facing dog. And then with an exhale, we step left leg to the front, then the right. Bending, straightening knees, arms sweeping tall overhead, hands coming to center, and back tall to mountain. Tall, strong in our mountain pose. Taking this into forward fold once again. So soft bend in knees, extending, hinging, swan diving forward, flat back. Forward fold, head hanging heavy. Soft bend in knees, bringing ourselves back up tall, hands coming to center, back tall to mountain. Coming into side leg pose, side angle pose, right leg forward, left leg stepping back, we lunge forward. Taking our right forearm, placing that on right thigh. It's going to be easier, closer to the hip. Little harder as you bring that forearm closer to the knee. Extending long through left fingertips. And then top hand comes down, bringing yourself tall. Back to a wide leg position. This time, chest expansion, clasping hands back behind you, broad open through chest. Reaching out across the room, head hanging heavy. Broad open through chest as we ease the hands off of our backside. And then with an exhale, hands lower down to the feet, pressing feet into the mat. Inhale, rolling spine back up tall. Then we side angle on the opposite side, facing the back of the room. Left leg lunges forward, forearm coming to your left thigh, long through right fingertips. Gaze can come up along where the wall and the ceiling meet. To then bring top hand down, pressing feet in, back tall, and stepping back up to the front. Coming into tree then to make our way down to the mat. Grounding our feet down, tall, strong, and mountain. Pressing right foot into the mat as you rise up onto left toes. Left foot coming to inner calf or thigh. Hands at heart center. And if and when you're ready, we can draw those arms tall overhead, reaching up towards the sky. To then bring our hands back to center and back tall to mountain. Spreading out through left toes, rising onto right foot coming to inner calf or thigh, knees rotated to the side, hands at heart center, raising our arms tall overhead. And then bringing hands down to center and back tall to mountain. Together, bring ourselves down to the mat for some seated work as we move to the last portion of our class. Soft bend in knees, extending, hinging, swan diving forward, flat back. Exhale, lowering to forward fold. Ragdoll stretch with a little rock and sway from side to side. Softness about neck, through shoulders. To then come into center to stillness. Soft bend in knees, placing our palms on the mat, stepping back long into plank. Long line from head through shoulders, hips to heels. With an inhale, downward facing dog. Lowering heels down towards the mat. And then with an exhale, we drop to our knees and coming to child's pose, upper body resting on thighs. And inhale, bringing ourselves up and coming to a seated position. Extending legs long in front of us. Staff pose to begin. Hands by our sides, broad open through chest. And then forward fold, arms raising up, extending, reaching long through ankles, through toes. And we roll the spine back up tall. Let's bring legs out long. You wide leg forward folds. So long through legs. Extending, reaching your right arm out towards right toe or ankle. Grasping to toe or not. And then we can inhale, bringing that left arm up. Perhaps your hands are several inches away. Perhaps we're able to reach that fingers down towards the toes. Making sure we're not compromising that form. We don't want to round through the spine, crunching through the back. To then release the hands, inhale, and bring ourselves back up. Forward fold, arms raising up, reaching out, extending long. Settling in, tuning into the breath, being here in this present moment. And then we walk ourselves back up. Opposite side, left hand reaching out towards left toes or ankle. We inhale, right arm raising up, lateral bend to the side. Great stretch through inner thigh, targeting as well that lower back. To then hands release, and we bring ourselves back up tall. Legs coming together. Placing our fingers back behind us. Bicep stretch as we bring our legs apart and toes in and toes out. Some straight leg windshield wipers. Little care through our hips. Then to stillness, flipping hands around. Bent knee windshield wipers, knees to the side, feet to the other. Certainly those legs do not need to touch the ground. A little side to side movements. And then coming in to center. So we bring ourselves up tall and into bound angle pose. Soles of the feet drawn together, lowering down through knees. And then coming into half Lord of the Fishes. Let's have left leg on the bottom as we sit up tall, right leg crossing over the top, planting right foot on the mat with a tall spine and sweeping your right hand back by right hip. We can cradle the leg or take that hand, placing it out on the outside of our thigh, looking over right shoulder. To then release, unwind, switching sides. Now right leg is on the bottom, squaring hips to the front of the mat, knees towards center, left leg crossing over the top. With a tall spine, we bring left hand back by left hip, cradling the leg across midline as we look over left shoulder. And then we release and coming back to center. Turtle pose, soles of the feet drawn together, making a boxy shape through your legs with a tall back. Hands slide underneath shins to rest forearms onto the mat. Head hangs heavy down towards feet. To then release and inhale and bringing yourself back up tall. Coming into the middle of our mat. In the middle of our mat as we roll down onto our back. Knees hugged into chest. Or gently rock and sway from side to side, A massaging of our spine. And then coming to center, to stillness, bending your knees, placing feet flat on the mat. Bridge pose as we lift our hips up, long straight line from knees, hips to shoulders. And exhale, lowering hips back down to the mat. Drawing bent right knee in towards you. Hamstring stretch as we raise that right leg up to the ceiling, hands interlaced along the back of the hamstring or calf. To then release in hugging your right leg in towards you. And then extending that straight left leg out along the mat. Inhale, sliding left leg back in towards you, both knees hugged in. Right foot drops down to the mat, so right knee bent, right foot flat on the mat as we hug our bent left leg in towards us, switching sides. And then raising our left leg up to the ceiling, hands interlaced along hamstring or calf. And then releasing, drawing your bent left knee in towards you, straightening that right leg out along the floor. Inhale, drawing right knee back in, both knees drawn in. Bridge pose again, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, pressing your feet into the mat, lifting hips up. Exhale, slowly lowering hips back down to the mat. Figure four pose as we raise feet off the mat. Right foot comes onto left thigh. Hands interlaced along the back of the left leg, stretching out through your right side of your body. To then release, unwind, switching sides, left foot onto right thigh, hands interlaced along back of the right leg, drawing right leg in towards you. To then release and unwind. Reclined bound angle pose, soles of the feet coming together. Hands resting by your sides. We can place our hands along our thighs, inner thigh stretch. And then bringing one leg up to the ceiling and then the other. Coming into spinal twist, we bring those arms out long, palms outstretched, facing up, knees bent, thighs together. Knees falling to the right, head turns to the left in a spinal twist. The legs coming up to center, knees falling to the right, knees falling to the left, head turns to the right as we switch directions. And legs coming up to center, straight through your right leg. Left foot then comes onto the knee. We shift our weight over to the right, so the spinal twist, and our right hand gently draws the left leg down as we look over left shoulder. And then we come up to center, bending both knees, then straightening opposite left leg. Right foot then is placed on your knee, on your thigh. Weight shifts over to the left. Right arm is outstretched, left arm is on the right thigh, then looking over our right fingers. To then release, unwind, coming onto our back. Reclined windshield wipers, so feet are apart, knees to the side, legs coming up and side to side. Making sure those feet have some space in between them so you've got have room to drop your knees down. And just gently massaging through the lower back, through your glutes. Just really kind to your body. Moving into the last minutes of our time together this morning, whenever you're watching this video. One more time each side. Back to center, knees bent, happy baby. Grasping onto toes. And then with a playful side to side, more rocking, more massaging through spine. Little movements through ankle and hip joint. Moving in a way that takes care of you, honoring your body. To come to center, to stillness. Once again, knees hugged in, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Spinal twist, arms can come out. Right leg will cross over the left with knees bent, knees falling to the right. Head turns to the left, spinal twist. Weight of the top leg guiding down through knee. Legs coming up to center, releasing, unwinding, switching sides as knees fall to the left, head turns to the right. Legs coming up to center. One more pose before we move to corpse pose. We're going to bring those knees together. Feet are out towards the edges of a mat. Hands can rest by our sides. Just a little care through the outer thighs, a little pause here. And then extending one leg long, then the other, arms extending long overhead as if you were drawn in two directions. And then with an exhale, we bring our hands down to our sides, settling into our space, resting here in Shavasana in corpse pose. No hurries, no worries. This is still your time. And slowly adding in a few small movements, wiggling toes and fingertips, and shifting your arms and legs, bending your knees, rolling over onto your side. And when you're ready, bringing yourself up to a seated position. And thank you for joining me this morning in our yoga time. And I hope you're doing well, staying healthy, and I look forward to connecting again with you next week. So, namaste, and enjoy this dreary weather. It's going to be hopefully nice over the weekend, right? All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.